Welcome back, everyone, to the Valorant Game Changers presented to you by Verizon. We just witnessed an absolutely dominating performance here by Complexity GX3. Clean sweep, Vans.
Yeah.
My goodness gracious.
Yeah, this is definitely with my copium. I feel like, you know,
Right?
it's just a warm up. They just needed to warm up. It wasn't their map pick, you know, and Complexity was just able to just storm through. But kidding aside, I just think that Complexity had everything going from the perfect reads, being able to avoid every type of crunch that you would have coming out for your opponents, and just basically winning every single duels too. There's just so many swing rounds where it's just going to be, okay, we get a nice opening here from the Teddies, but then it's going to be Jazzykins that's just popping off. And even Lace is able to get so much value on an attacker side and op, on a Sage of all things. But self boosts, the wall boosts, or the walls into the executions for Complexity, they weren't really broken that quickly. It was all because we're trying to find the right timings and the right moments to try to answer back, or even get the upper hand on the opening rounds here. And it just didn't pan out in the favor for the Teddy Tactics.
No, it did not. And I mean, each scoreline, like I was looking at the final scoreline for Complexity, everybody just looked absolutely dominating there.
Yeah.
Now, we touched up on this, and I'm going to swing this over to you, Gompers. As far as like when we saw the maps picks and bans coming in from the start, Fracture is Complexity's map pick, right? We saw Icebox was banned out, Ascent was banned out, and we're coming into Split, which is the Teddy Tactics map pick, and I'm hoping that like they can definitely like play a little more comfort here. How hard is it when you're coming into this as a newer roster, having to decide, are we banning out maps that we're weak at, or maps that we know that the enemy team is strong at?
I feel like when you're coming in as a newer team, it isn't about your comforts. It's about their comforts, especially coming into this brand new, right? You got to create your own strategies. You got to develop that understanding of how to adapt to a team as powerful as Complexity. We're not talking just a random team. You know, Complexity is the team. Jazzy, quite literally being the reigning champion of Game Changers previously, and coming into this, you know, just dominating on that Raze role. And Raze, right, looking at that Brimstone MVP, all of these players have their own quirks that really carry them in this position. So you have to try to diminish that. And I feel like as a new team, that's quite literally the only thing you can do.
So when we talk about then coming into this, like you gotta figure out what the comfort. This is Split. Yes, it's the new Split. Yes, it's now finally back in play. But I feel like I would still expect Complexity to do fairly well here. And now it just comes down to this Teddy Tactics. Have any tactics coming into this, Vans?
Yeah, so this is a map that they just played in their last series, and it was a double duelist composition that they use with a Jet and a Raze in their comp. And, you know, I feel that this is a nice way to try to formulate an attack plan back against Complexity if you want to stay towards that double duelist. It's just, let's fight fire with fire. Let's not try to elaborate too much on type of utilities that we could use, and just bring our double duelist and just shut down one player at a time. I think that could be a great way to start things off. But on the other end, it's, you know, once again, comfort picks for every single one of the players over for Teddy Tactics, because Blind should still be staying on that Breach. I always see her playing a Breach every time we're playing our ranked games together, so, and this is not unfamiliar territory for her, and it's also a very good map for Breach. And that's a great opportunity to set up those double duelist hits, where hopefully they might be able to catch Complexity off guard on those and salvage a couple of rounds throughout the series.
Now, when we talk about how to handle that Complexity, because if this is something that Teddy Tactics, like, yes, we gotta, you know, pick our comforts, set up properly. I'm not 100% sure if they're starting on attack or defense, and I'm sure our production can help us out with that. I don't know if it matters that much, though, just because, okay, and we're hearing it's like a little beat defense, because Complexity, watching them from that first map, absolutely aggressive. Too aggressive, in fact, that it gets very hard. Like, what? Do we hold down site? Do we just play one on site? We abandon the site and play for retake? It almost didn't matter because they are so quick to set up for that post plant. Gompers, if your complexity right now, like, how do you want to continue like abusing this? Are they going to just maintain tried and true with their agent selection here, or are we going to be expecting perhaps some out-of-pocket picks that to try out this time around?
I mean, I love the aggressiveness that we got to see out of Fracture, but I feel like Fracture is so forgiving with momentum like that. But coming on to Split, you see this wide range of, you know, attack territory where now you're going on the defense, and I feel like it will be favored heavily towards Teddy Tactics if you're going to be an aggressive player down on that defense, which, you know, just kind of leads to, I don't think Complexity is going to be aggressive at all here. I feel like they're going to play to their strengths, but at the same time, they're going to also leave some of that discipline down there on that defense as well.
Yeah, just to add on to that, sorry here, Sajina. I think playing aggressive probably is going to be that, like, playing to your strength or Complexity is probably still going to be playing aggressive. I haven't seen a lot of Complexity on this map with Split, but if I just think about how they played on that previous map and how Lace has been playing on that stage, and an agent that's still very good on this map to prevent like the splits that I was talking about earlier into the A-side ramps, I think that agent is still going to be very important. Another agent that's super important is probably still a Raze on this map too, and that's an agent that's very comfortable for Jazzykins too, who could also play that jet. So that in itself for me shows that, you know, you have ways to set up somebody that's going to dive very aggressively for Complexity and still open it up the way that you want against like like Teddy Tactics. So it's going to be a difficult one, I think, unfortunately, for our friends over that are usually on the production side here, such as Pine.
Right. So it's a little too much for me to ask for a map 3 here for Lotus. Is that what you're saying? Is that should I put that on the hot seat, Van, right now? Is that you're calling it a 2-0?
I will call it a 2-0 because I'm always bad with predictions. So then that means we'll get a third map, and I want to see that third map.
I think we should ask Dan. I think that's what we should.
Is she the person like to swing? Well, I mean, don't think you can dodge me here, Gompers.
Okay. Listen, I feel like I'm on the hot spot, but I don't think we're gonna go to that third map. Listen, I love Teddy Tactics, and I do appreciate, you know, all the work and effort they put into this, but I feel like with Complexity, I mean, you got a reigning GC champion, you got Lacey that's sticking it down with their initiator. I feel like it's gonna be pretty hard.
Well, let's see if our casters agree with this fine analysis on this desk here. We got Tanner and Dryad coming at you.
A 6-time champion in Jazzykins on Complexity, as Gomps was mentioning there at the end. But I did catch Dryad. Everybody's curious to know your thoughts as to whether or not we are getting or not getting a map 3.
Look, we're gonna do 2 maps, so it's gonna be it's gonna be 2-0. And let me explain myself. So I know, like, in challengers, everybody was like, yeah, Dry, just cursing, caster curse, everything. But I choose my days on when I want to curse people and when I don't want to curse people. And so today is one of those days where I am not cursing people. This cannot go wrong at all today, right? This cannot go wrong. So Complexity is gonna take Teddy Tactics 2.
Very well. Dryad, I need you to solo cast. I'll be typing on my twit longer. It sounds like Dryad has been intentionally caster cursing. That is 2 maps in a row in which Dryad has
I said it was going to be... I said, what is this going to be a 13-0 again? And it was. So, again, I choose my curses.
That is true. That is true. Complexity, they have defeated the curse as we see. I thought we would get a similar composition to what they played in March of 2022 is the last time we saw Complexity play this map. And it was a Sage in the composition. We were minus the Astra, minus the Viper, add an Omen, but that does not seem to be the case. So Lace will be back on the patented initiator role. Raze will be filling the flex, and then everybody else in their respective roles. Meanwhile, on the other side, the desk queued us up for this one. Arya on the jet, elaborate on the Raze, a double duelist to try and throw a wrench into this Complexity defense early here in this one as we get started.
And again, for Complexity, the newer composition, the newer meta being played by them with the no Sentinel more than anything, just a double controller to go in, and I mean, it gets the first kill.
Man, that is, again, it's just so daunting there. The first thing you do is you use a bit of utility and get headshot to get started. So Lace happy to have that one. Complexity enjoying the start of Split thus far as Cal, Pinecone, and Astru look to pick up the pieces with both duelists gone.
And in the meantime, Complexity still holding on to this position with 3 players on this A site. Of course, their location gets revealed. No, that is not a rotation, but the flash is perfect. Gets 2, and for Lays, make it a 3rd one.
Wow, hot start here for Lace. 3 kills on the sky, flexing the default spray there at the end. And yeah, we take another look at the beginning of this one, and it was right away. I mean, the duelists in tow, right behind one another. They wanted to fight together. Unfortunately, they were dissected almost immediately, and that just left the 3 remaining players kind of reeling in what was going on for the rest of that round. And this time, Lacey will go back to that rifle buy with the light shields, but can afford it a bit better with 3 kills under her belt.
We saw it before, but it was with the Sage with no kills this time around. But 3 kills from the last round and looking to get a little bit more inside of the smoke. It's a couple players with Jazzykins. No way! 3 kills, 2 with the paint shells, and with that, everybody down. 4 for Jazzykins at the end.
Satchel out.
Wow, I mean, the round... Hey, they had me in the first half of what was the 15 seconds that round existed, where I thought Kara was in an awful spot. Paint shells at Kara's feet, but instead, it's Jazzy to find kills for paint shells. Extra damage, making that Spectre that much stronger. A 4th found and a flawless round. I believe that's 3 on the series thus far for Complexity GX3, but it was just the anti-eco, although those kills were pretty. They were against pistols. And now it's the full buy here for Teddy Tactics, and RES quick atop the box out towards mid, trying to fight forward.
And you want to do what the analyst desk was saying, play your own game, meaning aggression from the double duelist that we get to see for Teddy Tactics. If they're going to get some rounds here with map, potentially, but it's going to be step by step, a little bit of damage coming through, and Lace goes down. Good chance for Teddy Tactics on round 3.
Yeah, a great start here. Stinger gonna find 1. Classic out, no shot. Claudia just did it to him as they try to funnel out from heaven. 2 kills found, 1 more from the paint shells and the spike. Now down, Cal. Nastru, need to find that spike. Get it planted as the cage goes up. Good shots. Astra v Astra. Kara's gone.
1 enemy remaining.
A 2v2 that remains. Now it's all up to Raze here. 46 health. A Spectre in hand with the spike planted just around the corner. Raze will stay inside the cage. Tosses out the snake bite. Looks to take the fight. Doesn't know that both players are split up for now. 6 HP. Sees the cross. No vulnerability. Almost. Gets it done there, but Cal will close it out. Finally, the clutch factor comes through, and Teddy Tactics are on the board.
And they get on the board for the first time on this match. This is kind of what we wanted to see, right? You don't want those bonus rounds and that full momentum to go the way of Complexity. If you're on the side of Teddy Tactics, you want them to stand a chance, and that's a good way to start them off. Sure, it was an expensive round, but it's gonna be the actual full reinvestment. It involves a couple of those light shields and a Complexity with a heavy killjoy utility towards A.
And Cal with the Cosmic Divide. We'll see if they sniff out that there's nobody on this A site. They do have to deal with that Killjoy utility, so Claudia gonna be hands off in this stall so far for the A site.
Playing around that utility as well. Exactly what you want to do, though. It takes a little bit of damage. 54 HP she ends up with as Arya tries to take that A control.
Meanwhile, Elaborate fighting up here in heaven. Out comes the showstopper. Jazz looking to find something there. Out towards mid, but Elaborate's already gone. The rocket will miss. The paint shells will delay the follow. And a 1-for-1 across the map is where we stand.
And there were plays all across the map for Teddy Tactics. Trying to get some space all across, but it doesn't matter. Still, the spike gonna be planted. Good chance here. A little bit of damage that Ash had to take, as now we get to see the retake from Complexity.
Sleep tight.
And that right there was a huge thorn in the back of Complexity. So Lace able to make quick work of Cal, and now can look to go back to work and retaking this site, but just about 15 seconds have been ticked off the clock, and that spike continues to tick on down. The back and forth
Last player
will continue itself. Lace gonna find the kill on to Ash. Now Elaborate needs to try and hang on. Both players are low. They need to cross to the spike, but Jazzy finds the smallest of margins and now look to defuse with the smallest of margins. And I mean, they are dancing with the devil here. They hand off the defuse to Lace, and that will be the round to Complexity.
All in control, all part of the plan here for Complexity as they secure that third round of split. And incredibly aware, a team that knows exactly where everybody from Teddy Tactics is going to be pushing for. Even if they give out that heaven control towards B, or they give out a little bit of space after that spike gets planted, you still saw Kara just waiting for it and waiting for that kill opportunity to make sure things don't go the wrong way.
And unfortunately, with the reinvestment in that last round, Teddy Tactics down to a less than enjoyable buy here. 4 sheriffs across the board. Elaborate, though, just around the corner from a showstopper. We'll see if he's able to get that ultimate online. Beautiful grab well there. The whirlpool starts to suck everybody on in. Elaborate's dealt with. Cal gets one back, however. And for now, Complexity, I mean, they're not out of the woodworks just yet. Still have 4 players to worry about.
It's a 4v4, a situation that we saw before on Fracture, and one that became really difficult for Teddy Tactics when the numbers were even, or even when they got the numbers advantage. Complexity was always ready to take that lead, so trying to stop that now with those sheriffs.
No more.
Waiting around 50 seconds.
Yeah, unfortunately, Claudia's util still here.
Gonna delay them, yeah.
Yeah, half of that double dive is gone. So Arya will take more chip damage and dashing past it all. And will be left on an island while the rest of the team
30 seconds left.
to come on through. And instead, it's up towards heaven they go. They want to try and avoid that utility. Jazzy will go down through the wall. Claudia still hangs on to the position, though.
Oh, and Raze goes down. Good chance here for the light buy of Teddy Tactics as they try to go for the plan. But there's that utility from Claudia.
Somehow still managing to find a kill. No way.
Timing.
Should get it planted. Now player back sight already spotted and gone before they even knew what was happening. Cal will be the last one to fall, and Complexity will do it once more. A 4th round picked up off the back end of Claudia and Kara's play.
Oh, it's such a difficult position as well for the last 2 players of Teddy Tactics. They get the spike planted, but behind the screen, watching that same angle was a perfect opportunity to isolate them one by one as Complexity, they get that 4th round. And one of the things that we saw on Fracture was the Teddy Tactics that started stacking those ultimates but held onto them for so long. Now that they have all these ultimates, potentially even getting that showstopper, this is when you want to see that rotation that Complexity was doing before.
Okay, holy, it is quick, hot on the heels of Raze. Now the rocket available, paint shells out and Elaborate takes so much damage, forced to back away from it all, but will gladly trade a bit of damage for that kill onto Raze.
Yeah, 4 ultimates available and a really good kill as the Viper goes down. Makes it a little bit easier for them to deal with. The Trailblazer definitely is going to spot a couple of players towards mid. This is an approach that we haven't seen before. It's a fast one, a quick one for Teddy Tactics, but because of that, Complexity is going to back up for a second.
I mean, they've seen this setup before. They know exactly where Claudia is playing, but do they expect this? Out comes the lockdown, that A site. It is not very safe here. They want to go aggressive. Pinecone the first one up. That's the spike down. Astro there on the tray. They cannot keep the lockdown alive. And with that, look at the health bars, Dryad. It is not good for Teddy Tactics.
You are divided.
So low for 3 of the players. Barely alive, less than 20 HP. And at this position, you wouldn't have to play back. You don't have to play for these trades, but it's so difficult. The Seeker's gonna get invested. One of the players gets spotted on the other side. There's a chance here.
What a problem. Cal, so huge from that position, but Lace just a bit better will silence the Astra of Teddy Tactics and put a 5th on the board.
Clutch.
It was so close. Cal
Don't
gets
even
spotted
try me.
and tries to get her, or tries to get them, excuse me, as the next players go down. Turns into a 1v2, but Lace got
One enemy.
the side of complexity. He's gonna take care of the situation just fine with 3 kills. The Red Bull clutch as well going her way. And the Teddy Tactics, that was so close. Even so low in HP. We said it, less than 20 for 3 players.
Out. Placing
Oh, but the numbers just weren't enough.
There was some crazy stuff happening. The way that Cal danced around the Cosmic Divide, it almost worked for them, but with Classic
Yeah.
in hand, just not enough. Cal was good, Lace was better, which means that round found. Now Arya a little too quick on the dash, affected by the flash, but for now safe as the Trailblazer, I do believe, does find the stun there. Spineko takes some damage, she trades them back herself, and again, it's Raze, the first to fall here in this round.
Got one.
Yeah, second time in a row, but it doesn't matter. Claudia ready for it. Changes that setup that we've seen for this Killjoy on this A side, now all the way towards B, and the kill just seemed to be enough. The rifles just for 2. Before it gets taken down, there's a chance here once again for Teddy Tactics 3v2.
Yeah, directly here on the site, though, it's an awkward
Spike
situation.
down,
Pinecone
B.
once more out on her front foot, gets caught with the spike. Now Arya forced to cross and try and pick this one up. Astru was playing around the world and has eventually made their way back to try and help their teammate out as both players have been spotted. A cage goes up and allows for Arya to cross, and that spike
30 seconds
be
left.
planted. No way. Do they expect this?
So risky.
It's a judge, though, Dryad. It's a judge, though, Dryad. I mean, there's just not much you could do there. Astro forced to reload. We'll try and line them up. Makara dances a dance a bit too well, and it's another round for the defense.
And we've seen the growth here for Teddy Tactics on this map, looking a little more comfortable, but of course, I mean, complexity just ahead of the game. When it comes down to the last round, a clutch, or a play like this one where the numbers are even, and you need to clear those angles with a judge. The variety here of strategies that Complexity has and how much they have to be pushed, these rounds have still been expensive for them.
Yeah, every single round you see, there's players who are still running out of economy, and a reset is imminent. They're not too far off from finding that, that being Teddy Tactics for now. They're by a bit lesser than what they would have hoped for, but Arya does have the knives, but on a solo mission for now out towards the A site.
Something that we've seen before from Arya, and you're hoping is going to get some results on the side of Teddy Tactics, but as of right now, it's all about Complexity. Kara taking down that race, and with that, Teddy Tactics gonna cut noise. Fall back.
And now there's big shoes to fill here. Arya needing to fill that of both the duelists with the lab break on. Trailblazers there, knives, they're gonna go wide. The judge, however, does not miss. Raze will finally find their target here 3 rounds later. Jazzykins lets the spray get a little wild, but will eventually reel it in to find that kill onto Pinecone. Yeah, nobody saw anything. This round is still looking to end flawlessly.
I mean, you can't really make it through to the other side. You have a judge, you have the pain shells as well, 2 players watching, the Trailblazers stunning you as you go in. So many ways to shut down this positioning that Teddy Tactics is trying to get, and that's a little bit of adaptation as well for Complexity, something that they've always been good at, and it is also the thing that we talked about with teams like Teddy Tactics. You want to have that dominant performance.
And they are seemingly putting together another dominant performance here, but only 8 rounds in, 4 more to go. And before we get into round 9 again, I think this is exactly where we saw that timeout previously from Teddy Tactics. And they'll be discussing just how exactly they can dissect this defense of Complexity. They did a pretty good job playing out through mid, rotating out towards A.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you look at the changeup that's being made right now, it is a stark difference than what we saw. It looks like they want to completely flip the map and put Claudia on an island out towards B. And you would almost assume, because it's been solo Killjoy, A, just about every single round, that out of this timeout, Teddy Tactics looks to slam A.
And even then, there's a couple rounds, right, where we're seeing Claudia towards this B site. So they've been changing it up a little bit more, and the read is always strong. I love those kind of Sentinel players that are pretty much solo playing into one side. They know exactly when they have to back up, play for that utility, allow that retake to happen if it is necessary. And Claudia is one of those players that is able to do it to perfection. It is also what's shutting down Teddy Tactics over and over again, as good to see a Viper's pit towards mid, so the entrance says the possibilities become a little bit more difficult for Teddy Tactics.
Oof, and things are getting difficult for Claudia. No way. A couple of body shots later. Elaborate's been taken down. Arya looks to go deep once more and is met with by Lacey as the paint shells go out. Jazzy just continues to find kills with the util. One more player backside, and that is overkill onto Pinecone. Make it a third to cap off the round.
Jazzykins, the player here that has experienced international victories even, and that is exactly what you would expect from her over and over again. Those multi-kills, the quick reactions, the aggression from this duelist. One of the things that I mentioned, right? I feel like for Complexity, even with the changes that this roster had to go through, Jazzykins had to adapt so well into it, because, I mean, she is shining.
Alarm bot out. Placing
Yeah,
swarm grenade.
absolutely.
Placing swarm grenade.
Shining here for Complexity. Meanwhile, another full buy comes through from Teddy Tactics. One Guardian going to make its way into the mix, but Cal's proven proficiency there with that. And I don't know if that was supposed to be a fake updraft to try and catch somebody, maybe expecting the Jet to be atop the box, or if Arya just bonked her head. Either way, they'll back away from the play out towards mid and stack 5 here inside A main for Teddy Tactics.
Good chins here. No Killjoy utility this time around, but on the other side, you know who it is. It's Kara. Gets that first contact, gets that first info, immediately sending those stars all the other way.
They're quick to get those stars down, but they don't actually use them. So those still will be available here in the retake. A shorty in hand. Kara hoping somebody gets aggressive. The boom bot should be the only one that catches a shorty shot.
Once again, waiting for the team, and that is the kind of play that you want to see for Complexity, waiting around, trying to play it all together. Jazzykins, though, goes down, immediately traded.
And a good fault line in response as well. Players trying to push through, but cannot. As Arya moves just before the cloud burst. Kara ready on the angle. Time, it's ticking away. They're afraid of a player inside A main. Unbeknownst to them, all 3 are out towards the side. Elaborate's been taken down. Cal will find the trade. Now the last one standing is Pinecone looking to hang on, and there's just no time. Seemingly, they've done it again. A second round. The Teddy Tactics as a shorty kill comes through, but it does not matter. The winner is in red.
Second round for Teddy Tactics. With the time slowly running down, and for Complexity, yeah, we saw Kara playing all the way back, gets spotted as well by that Raze utility, but it seems like the timing was a little bit off from them to take the initiative, try to go in, even when the kills ended up going their way. And hey, Teddy Tactics, they're gonna take it one step at a time if that's what it takes to win a little bit more against side of Complexity.
You are divided.
Lockdown gonna be available now. And first, right away, Cosmic Divide.
Yep, it's a good way to deal with an open site with players inside heaven. Claudia not feeling comfortable enough to push their way into screens. So they will wait for the team once more. And hey, last time Teddy Tactics were able to get it done in the post plant. We'll see if they can find those same results.
5v5 retake here for Complexity. The Trailblazer should spot this first player. Maybe not. Arya still holding into that position until Jazzykins gonna take care of it.
Yeah, I don't know if the Trailblazer saw, but Arya gives herself up just a second too early. They have done enough to buy the lockdown here. Neural Theft in response. As Elaborate plays with the pink shells, those have been expended. Still having to back away from the site. Nobody on the spike just yet as the spray comes through. As true. Just not long for this world. Lace will hop onto the spike. As Claudia finds 3 kills to close out the round of 9 for Complexity.
One more chance in this half
Last round before the
for
switch.
Teddy Tactics. See if they can take it to that curse, to that 9-3, but it's been the complete opposite even for this round.
Enemy remaining.
Teddy Tactics, they take that A side, but Complexity, they change. What was their mistake for that last one? They do the opposite. They go way faster. Especially when you hear that Cosmic Divide, you already know how it's gonna go down. Good reaction again for this team. As Pinecone now having the Rolling Thunder. Good entry here.
Blinding.
I mean, heaps of utility tossed out. Elaborate holds her position out towards mid, catches Raze on the lurk. Lace there for the trade.
Oh, and the Rolling Thunder here gets invested, but they couldn't capitalize from it at all. I mean, the buy itself is so rough, but the timing as well. The time that you had to go after the Rolling Thunder was just gone. The opportunity no longer there, so now they're gonna have to deal alone with that firepower.
I mean, this has been tried and true, right? Take this A site that's being solo held. Try and dig out Claudia. We'll now have to dig out Lace as well.
Found them.
They drop down onto the side. Alarm bot triggered. Arya looking to be here on the backstab. Oh, Kara did not see her there. Went Galactic for a second. And a 1-for-1 trade as Cal will also work their way up here on the flank. Lace seemingly ready for it.
Oh, watching it as well. Lace good for 3. Once again, we've seen a couple of those for the Sky player here on Split. As the last 2 players start to hold, trying to create that delay. Pinecone doing so,
One
that utility,
enemy
the
remaining.
Spectre. As the time is slowly running out. Pinecone, the last one to get taken down, and Lace gets 4.
Oh, no. You don't deserve my emotions.
Less than flawless for Complexity here in this half,
Switching
but
sides.
still a pretty good finish. 10-2 as we swap sides. We'll see how they... Well, you know, honestly, they have so many rounds to play with. You mentioned it in map number 1, right? When you win a game flawlessly and
Enemy remaining.
what you're doing is just working,
Got one.
you don't have to show your hand. So I can't imagine we see anything too tricky or too insane from Complexity. I think they
Enemy remaining.
just look to run and find kills like they have been here in these retakes. Obviously, they've been setting themselves up with utility, but
Remaining.
in 3 rounds away, I think Complexity looked to just coast their way through this one versus jumping into the playbook.
And we got to see some cool ideas on the defense with the combination between the Sky and the Raze for Complexity, and you can only expect that to happen way more. As they jump onto the attacking side, already having double digits to work with, have to back up a little bit because of the paint shells coming through for Teddy Tactics, but now they're ready for it.
Yeah, they want to take these fights here, but oh man, Jazzy wants to take them too. Out go the paint shells. Nobody can peek from heaven for now, and this site has been assumed. Complexity swiftly take this site.
A 3v5, a little bit of damage taking for COL, as each one of the players of this defensive side is in a different position. It seems like the Astra and the Jet here are gonna be working it together. But hold the advantage here for Complexity, even with that turret to spot the players towards heaven. Yeah, there it is.
One enemy
Yep, turret
remaining.
taking some shots. Cal and Arya gonna trade them back. The turret will eventually find a kill as the alarm bot was triggered. It's Astru. Take damage from that one, be vulnerable for just a second. Not comfortable enough to take the fight, and the turret tried to get it done. Instead, it's Claudia to close out the pistol. The second one that goes the way of Complexity as they put an 11th on the board.
And every single pistol round as well for Complexity going their way. And it's just the start once again for Jazzykins.
Let's see.
So clean. Of course, takes a little bit of damage, but I mean, you're already winning the first duel and the second duel for Teddy Tactics. It makes the job a lot easier. And now this is going to be a force for Teddy Tactics, knowing the backs are against the wall. They want to stay alive on this match for a little bit longer.
Man, I mean, it's exactly what you would expect from double duelists. Teddy Tactics, they do it again. Aggressive. Out towards mid once more from the defensive side. And they finally get the better half of the trade. Elaborate falls, but Jazzykins and Lace, the dynamic duo, they're gone.
It could be that this force is going to work out. There's a chance here. Such a good player as well from Arya. Gets to very, very early on. Make sure that that aggression is turning the right way. As now as Complexity, the ones that have to cut some noise, have to make that rotation as the spike moves towards the A side, where the Cypher is going to be waiting.
Yeah, Astro will get the information as early as possible here with this cam. Stars are down. Astro should now call for the rest of the team. Smokes go out. And unfortunately, that cam won't quite find the value. It was heard, though. You saw that they were looking for it in the X-ray. Couldn't quite find it, and it will be Complexity who are allowed to plant, but a player down, they have to hold on.
And utility as well early on doesn't catch anybody else. Yeah, the Cypher goes down. The one that was up close, letting everybody else know how this play was going to end up.
Oh, man. Arya shaping up to find the ace here. 5 HP in a dream. Get out. Draft will be ripped out of the sky. The Bulldog and the Spectre proving to be enough as Complexity try to hang on, and they do so successfully.
And it was so close. 3 for Arya with the early aggression towards mid, and the third one. But with 5 HP, yeah, there's only so much that you can do. And Complexity is not gonna give any more space for Teddy Tactics. Technical pause though.
Technically, we are in a pause.
You're so funny.
Chat, please. Somebody laugh.
You're so funny, Tanner.
We got the pity laugh from production. That's all that matters.
I think that's just the voices in your head.
Did I mention I'm a father? Does it make the jokes any better if they're dad jokes?
Yes.
Does it help my case at all? Please, give me something.
Maybe it just makes them worse, I think. Good try, though.
I'm living up to the trope, unfortunately.
Hawk out!
But we're back. And the buy is a little bit better. Still relatively the same. Fortunately, though, that Judge for Elaborate on defense is a bit easier of a weapon. It's a bit easier of a time to get value out of that shotgun, especially when you're playing inside B Heaven.
Oh, but real last chance for Teddy Tactics here as Complexity this time around playing it a lot slower compared to what we saw early on. Willing to give a little more space early on and hold on to those positions. They want to close it out the same way they did for map number 2 on that first map.
Hawk out!
That poor camera. The poor camera spotted and nobody is here on this site, so there's absolutely zero information. It's Complexity. It's an open house here, and they are staking their claim with that spike.
Fully taken now. Retake, last chance is 5v5. The buy isn't the best because of the force from that last one. Arya, though, looking for it, and the blades are going to be good for 1.
Yeah, not bad there. A weapon found as well. Unfortunately, a little detached from the team, so Arya's going to hang on to that Phantom. We'll see how the rest of this retake looks. Turret will finally get something, a bit of information as the Judge goes through. It's not Elaborate to find the kills. Instead, it's Complexity who are starting to piece them together. The knives, they all go wide, and Pinecone has to hang on once more, but it just won't be enough. Claudia will put a nice lace bow on this series. It's Complexity GX3. Find themselves qualified for the bracket play.
And maybe the craziest thing about this all is that Complexity today has played 4 maps and only 4 rounds have been taken away from it. How crazy is that stat? We don't see that often from even last year from the top teams. It's so hard to make that happen because things can go wrong. Pistols can go the other way, but Complexity are just not giving any space for the enemy to work with.
Yeah, I mean, and you saw it here. I think you could probably do the math, but I think 2 of those maps were 13-0s and 2 of those maps were 13-2.
Yeah.
So like you said, the pistol rounds, the anti-ecos, or even the bonus rounds, right? When, Complexity are just making it all happen. They are making it work. They're putting it together, which is why we have them so highly regarded as one of our top teams. And they've made quick work of their competition. They've also made quick work of the show day for us today, as that closes out our second and final series here for day 1. But there's still lots to talk about. We still have a post show for you guys. So Dryad and I are going to sign off. We're going to bring back our desk to break it all down and close out the day.
Sorry, I was
Thank you
leaning back
so
on Tanner.
much, casters. Yeah, like, see you later, alligator. And Dryad, no, she put it out there. She called it no caster's curse today. It was a quick 2-0 because, yes, absolutely dominating performance here from Complexity GX3. And I want to start with you, Vance. We talked about the comfort versus the aggression. Complexity, they started on defense. It didn't even matter. It was very hard from the start. You even called it, there goes the double duelist, gone from pistol round, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to rewind back to that pistol round right here, literally the wall came up. I know we're missing a couple of these kills while we're doing our highlight reels, but just think about that. The wall came up so that as soon as you dash or you try to satchel through that, you're decayed from the wall. There's paint shells behind it. You split the attack, and then you have 2 vulnerable players moving up towards the A ramp, where they just get shut down. So I like it, but you're still learning things as you go on the attack, where there was some moments of success and moments where I saw the attack shine for this team on the attack, where they were able to get first blood, but then it was kind of like I'm watching a Brazilian VALORANT game where you get the first kill, and then you just go, but then you lose all sights of what's happening around the map, and then you get shut down by other different angles that you're not clearing. But then on the other end, I'm also seeing a bit of NA when it's just Complexity using vanity judges on split and just dominating too.
Compers, do you feel like there was anything at all? Because we saw very thin glimmers of hope, potential on the side of Teddy. What happened?
There was a lot of potential. I feel like a lot of the time, again, this team is developing right into this competitive space, and it wasn't necessarily the aim. Yeah, there were some whiffed shots from here and there, but I feel like overall, this all would have completely... I feel like it would have gone better, and we probably would have gotten to see more points on the board if there was more potential for trade-offs. A lot of the time, I saw a lot of these solo fights being taken out, especially with Jazzy, right? Jazzy is always going to initiate onto that site, regardless of who you are. They were a powerhouse coming into this. They were so aggressive that, quite honestly, Teddy Tactics was afraid of it, and it came to the point where they started taking these solo fights and kind of lacking that synergy.
I mean, I'm glad you kind of brought that up, because technically we're supposed to be expecting the aggression on the side of Teddy Tactics since they were on the attack, but aggression met by what was the best defense is a good offense coming into this, Gompers. I mean, I'm not really sure what else you can do there, but I do want to get your final thoughts, and I'm going to start with you, Vance, on this dominating performance from Complexity. Do you feel like, as what Sloth said, this is going to be how they're going to be carrying themselves throughout the Game Changer series this week?
Yeah, but I also believe that it depends on the teams that you're playing with, right? Because or playing against, rather, because Tanner brings up a great point. When you're watching Complexity play here against Teddy Tactics, you actually didn't see any of those tactics coming out from Complexity because you didn't need to reach too deep into the pockets of trap plays or whatnot, right? We were having a lot of fun on how we were playing around the map for Complexity. Like I said, jumping around with judges, but even going for a last-second trade-off so that Lace could get a defuse at 0.7 seconds left. So there was a lot of comfort in just trying to vibe through the matches until it gets to the harder games. And I don't want to discredit Teddy Tactics, of course, but they're a brand new team, right? This is a great learning curve for them. But I think it was obvious at that point where, a lot of the crowd and the community would see that it's probably going to be Complexity moving forward, potentially through this series. Maybe not as a dominating fashion, but that's what happened, right? But like I said, they have an opportunity to not show any strats and to keep that behind the back pocket, so that if we actually do see split again, it's still going to be a brand new game that their opponent's going to have to face against Complexity.
Yeah, that's very well said. Well, we do have our Prime Gaming match highlights coming at you, and we prep for the break because we do have the Verizon post-match interview coming up as well. And then the final thoughts of the day here. So I will have Gompers and Vans coming back to join me to close things out. But for now, enjoy these previews. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Valorant Game Changers. This is the Verizon post-match interview, and I have the ever-lovely Jazzykins joining me from Complexity GX3. How are you doing? And congratulations.
Thank you. I'm doing well.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. Okay, you are in that room. I was just asking you if you're in the Complexity offices, and you are. Definitely recognize it with the board. But man, your team absolutely dominant today with 2 perfect maps, essentially dropping, 4 rounds overall. Talk to me about the approach you and your team had coming into today to warrant such a performance.
I mean, we just came in today, playing our own game, not worrying about strats or other enemies' gameplay or anything. We just played our own game, and that's what we did. And we only dropped like 4 rounds, so.
No, yeah, that's awesome. Now, I'm a little bit curious, and this is going to be a little more introspective of a question here. Any struggles that you experienced joining this new roster after essentially being part of a dominantly established one for a very long time in the past?
Yeah, I would say there's some struggles. Obviously, it's a very new environment for me. Being like the solo one to leave Cloud9 and like join a new team on my own, it's a bit rough, but there's some struggles, like there's a lot of new players that lack experience, but that's why I'm here to help them grow as a player. So
you've taken on that like a nice motherly role in the complexity offices. I mean, I love it. Now, I mean, I assume it's impossible for them not to be that the team and roster like welcomed you wholeheartedly. I would love to hear like some of the fun bonding experiences that you and the roster have been doing while you're out there over in Dallas, because I did see a awesome picture of you all at the stadium.
Yeah, so we went to the Ford Center. We got like a whole private tour where like people can go and get a tour, but we got like the private one, so we got to see like stuff that people haven't seen before, which is like pretty cool. Yeah, we had some team dinners, which was pretty nice, and that was like some of the bonding experiences we had.
I mean, that's really awesome, and I'm so happy to hear that you're fitting in and meshing in well, despite the great weather that is Dallas. Not only
it's very hot, it's very humid.
Right? I can only expect and imagine. I've been there. So a couple more questions to wrap things up, and I'll let you go here. Is there a particular team that you're looking to or wanting to match up against, for this event coming up?
I for sure want to rematch EG. I know we played them a couple times. We played them in Astral, and that was a BO1. And honestly, if it was a BO3, it'd have been 2-1, and then we did play them again in the Complexity Paradox one, which was a bit funky because there was we call it agent bans, so it was a bit weird. But I would like to run it back on an actual BO3.
Well, then I can't wait to see that particular matchup then, and obviously we'll be rooting for you here. Now, to wrap things up, just do you have any quick shout outs or message to the fans, your friends, the peers, anybody?
I want to shout out to all the fans that have been supporting me throughout these past 2 years of my journey, and yeah, I don't know. Thank you, and thank you for supporting Complexity as well.
That's awesome. And once again, Jazzy, thank you so much. I really loved the answers, and thank you for taking, good time with my questions. I will let you go. Congratulations once again today, and I hope to see you go far and all the way for this event.
Thank you so much.
Of course, no worries. That was so sweet. I love it. Thank you so much, Jazzykins. And once again, congratulations to Complexity GXD for winning this series. Now, I am ready to bring back my lovely panel over here. What are we dabbing? Hold on. Am I even in the right direction? Yeah. Oh, man.
Doing good. It was actually a nice little interview. Being able to get the VIP tour, I'm kind of jealous. I still want to make it out there.
I didn't get that.
Jason, you guys are listening, holler. Fly me over there.
Exactly. Okay. So apparently I only got the normie tour, not the VIP tour. What is this?
So you need to go back as well then.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go, fans.
Yep.
Tweet Longer is getting prepared right now, but it's actually a really great facility, and that's something that we love to see here in Valorant Game Changers. Is a lot of these teams being getting that opportunity to be supported by these established orgs and being provided like a great environment to have that and competitiveness, like, and competitive advantage, I guess. I suppose. But man, that was nice. I enjoyed her interview. But Vans, I guess I'll start things up with you. Let's wrap up this day here. Any highlights other than the absolutely dominating performance that we saw Complexity GX3?
I gotta say, we had a great start from GSG for sure. I think that was an honor to be able to be a part of, to be able to cast the history for that for Game Changers and for Disguise, and to be able to do it here for the Game Changer scene with Gompers and of course everybody else at the desk with you, with Tanner, with Dan. I think that was really awesome. Big shout out as well for Shift to be able to make that game very competitive. That shows that, you know, you still need to be on top of your game to make sure that you want to win the series. It's not just on like, hey, you know, try to plug it out and try to win it. You need to have that type of synergy to be able to win, which is why we also saw that dominant performance here from Complexity, as they seem to be gelling in every single aspect of their game.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Gompers, let's talk about, as we get ready for this AIM Lab Flick of the Day. I love this one in particular, and I just want you to kind of break it down for me, because I'm not as big-brained, high rank as you are.
Oh gosh. Honestly, this one was crazy. This brings me back. Listen, I'm down in memory lane. Kuda was just shooting it down. At this point, it wasn't necessarily, I would say, only the aim. It was the positioning. They took to themselves. They laid themselves back further a bit down towards that default spot, and they made sure to stick there so that they could have that advantage peaking. And not only that, obviously that 3K came through because it's just pure skill at that point.
Pure skill indeed. And it took them to overtime and everything. Like, that's every flick, every headshot counts, and it matters in all that stuff. So we do have some fantabulous graphics coming at you as we take a peek at the performance of the rest of the teams in the other brackets over here, or in the other groups, so to say. Oh man, look at all of these qualified teams already. Some of these not surprising here, right, fans?
Yeah, definitely not at all. I mean, you see the version 1, Evil Geniuses, Shopify Rebellion. I even think I went on Twitter to see that Shopify had an easy 4-0. Version 1 probably had the same thing. What's surprising, though, if you're actually looking at this list of Day 1 qualified, is I think that game is still happening right now, but there's no Xset Purple yet, right? And Xset Purple currently is at a game that is going to a third map, that is currently being played to a third map, or that could potentially almost finish here at a third map. Not sure what the score is going to be, but it's already a surprise in itself to see a dominating roster getting announced within Xset Purple already being like a challenge. And that's what I like too. You know, you look at the interview that you just had with Jazzykins, who you like to face off. She didn't go with version 1, her old team. She just went with Evil Geniuses. So I like now that the Game Changers in North America for this year, to start things off in 2023, is all rivalries outside of like the top team at the top echelon. Nobody's gunning for Shopify Rebellion yet. Nobody's gunning for version 1. They're gunning against each other just to make sure that they settle a score within the internal, how can I put this, battles and duels that goes back and forth between them, before they could be like, okay, we got these guys, let's focus on the top now.
Now, we even got some breaking news coming in, because this is not all of the teams that qualified just yet. CLG Red, they just qualified as this graphic came up. Right, let's go. Now, Gompers, we kind of addressed some of the not surprising rosters showing up on that map, but I'm looking at Newt, Team Karma, big fan of them, so I'm really happy they had an absolute dominating performance today too. No surprises for you there. Are you expecting, besides CLG Red, any other teams to join that we are missing?
Any other teams to join that we're missing? I feel like so far the list is looking pretty good. I mean, you said it, except Purple, right? I feel like that team should make it to that spot. If they don't, it would be very disappointing, because we haven't been able to even see them yet. So that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to kind of really diving deep into.
Okay, so it looks like, so besides Exit, since that seems to be your vote, we're waiting on Valeris versus Akumu. Now, to me, Valeris is the team that I'm more familiar with. I would be surprised if they don't make it through, but hey, anything can happen. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I agree with you. And I just want to go back to even like the storylines of what we had this morning, because if we're going back to Group B, there's actually a rematch in the lower finals, the decider to see who qualifies in that Group B between Disguised Game Changers and Shift X. So Shift X actually got their lower match elimination game 2-0 against Imperium. So they're going to go match up again. And there's an opportunity at this point, now that they understand how DSG plays, to make the series even more competitive. And that's going to be very heartbreaking for all DSG fans if, you know, Shift comes back with a vengeance and then eliminates DSG. That's going to be a very interesting storyline to follow along.
That is absolutely such a good call. I mean, you could flip it around though, right? You could also just say, well, now DSG, they do have that record and the you know, the playbook essentially of how we've seen them play. Perhaps maybe shifting some of the map picks and bans coming into that is going to be the play here. But it's one of those, the only way to find out is tomorrow. While with that, you know, I do want to get Vans to bed here. Poor man is tired, of course. So I want to wrap up the day, just like a quick goodbye from both of you, my lovely, lovely analysts, and I can wrap things up. Pieces out to you all, and thank you all. Yeah, of course. Thank you, Gompers. I'm hoping to see some bright and shiny Gompers tomorrow, maybe. We'll find out. But for everybody else, thank you for watching some amazing games today. Tomorrow is a whole another day here, so who knows what the storyline will play out here at the Valorant Game Changers. Presented to you by Verizon.
One enemy remaining.